Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday, the 20th of November. Let's have a quick scale through the news today. Well, we got September's non-farm payrolls being released today. I was just checking which ones we're going to see. We're only going to see September, so was it how many days afterwards? 48 days after we should have had them. We're going to see September's figures. Is it going to mean a great deal? Probably not as much as it would normally, but it looks like from what I'm reading how much truth is in that. But it looks like traders are starting to counsel the idea of a rate cut in December now for the US. So if these figures were to come out really poorly, maybe that might change a little bit. But okay. So that's what we're looking for at 1:30 today, is the non-farms. We had Nvidia's data out yesterday. It proved initially on the headline figures to be looking rosy, and it sort of gave a bit of a kick to the other markets, but it's questionable. There's still questions hiding behind it, and I think a lot of people, I'm just sort of wondering how much of this money that's been sort of invested and spent is going to give return, and I guess we've got to wait a bit longer for some of those answers. Anyway, we can only trade what we can see at the moment, and trying to double guess or work out what's going to happen can be very painfully expensive. So I suggest you look at the charts, accept what's happening, and that's it really. So let's look at the charts on that note. Morning, Sean. And what we got here then, so the euro's continued its ride back southbound. We still have this really key pivotal area of mine where it's heading towards at the moment. It's now, I say it's a pivotal area. It's just an area where we've got a significant number of highs and lows that kick around it. Is it not on here? It's not drawn on this one. Let's come back to it a second. What level are we sitting there? Around 114.86, so just below 115 really. It's the old 0-0 game, 114. So we're really looking back at these lows over here, where we could find support again. We'll see. Currently, looking at this 4 hourlies, we're almost down to the 4 hourly S2. We've got divergences kicking in here, but so long as the price hangs around the lows here, the fact that the pivot hasn't been hit, if we do hit the S1, there's a chance we'll go on towards the S2 there. So it's not too far away from that pivotal area that I'm looking at. 1486 did I say? So yeah, it's not that far away, and there's the potential of that rolling back towards that level. It looks a potential. The pound sold off solidly yesterday, even more solidly coming out of this range. Eventually, this always happens, you get a sort of a consolidation, horrible range, and eventually when it does go, it does go. But these went at sort of 3 o'clock yesterday. Certainly missed it for me. I wasn't here to trade any of these, which is a bit of a shame because some of them went 2ish, 3 o'clock. What this morning then, we got a divergence sitting across these lows here, which has on this occasion has been triggered, could bring us up to the daily pivot. We haven't hit the S1 yet, so a move off that daily pivot could be interesting later, so we'll keep an eye on that. In fact, we'll do what I normally do is around these sort of things, is just pop a little alert on there if it pulls back. Right, dollar yen. This has been going and going. It's hard to catch anything when the market's doing this. There's no retracement. It did, I suppose, 9 o'clock-ish time breakout through that previous highs. That would have possibly been the buy option. but yeah, needs some sort of retracement. I'm not looking to sell it into these levels. It's completely the wrong way for it at the moment. Okay, Aussie dollar, it's had a bit of reaction off its daily 200 there, but it's still looking soft like the rest of them. It's put a lower high in here. It's right on its quarterly pivot there as well, the S1. Managed to catch a bounce from that sort of area, but coming off again. This has potential back down towards its daily S1, which must be somewhere underneath that pivot there. It's underneath the other quarterly pivot there, so there's scope for that to come back down, double bottom onto the lows there. That's looking reasonably good. I'll come back to that and see what it looks like post 8 o'clock. US dollar CAD. Well, CAD is continuing to shift back up to the upside at the moment. Quite an ugly looking bit of price action that we've had this week on it. Not really liking what we're seeing here. It's again, we've got a quarterly pivot sort of rolling across there. Which one is it? It's the quarterly R1 that's sitting there. Potential resistance again. Not really liking that too much. New Zealand, a bit like the Aussie, but the Aussie's hit the pivot. This hasn't. But again, that looks like it's a similar picture in terms of the continuation to the downside. Hasn't got any quarterly resistance. Just a bit of weekly S2 there. Just looking at its overall trend and continuing down in this. This is just a regression channel I chucked on here ages ago. Where's it updated to? It was updated to this point. It should readjust this now down to its lowest pre-current price. It's just averaging its way down there, but nothing to be seen there. But it does continue to look soft. There's a possibility, as well as the Australian, or instead of the Australian, one or the other, but there's a possibility that could roll back over further. US dollar Swisses has continued the opposite way. The US dollar strength coming through there. This green line is another one of these key pivotal areas I've identified through the markets, over some of them over the months, years. I just leave them on there because the price keeps on coming back and reacting. So it's got, to me, probably a bit overbought, and there will be a divergence kicking through on here, but that doesn't mean to say sell, because, well, you can see the strength of the move at the moment. It could break down. If it breaks the low between the two highs, then it's got more scope to sell off, but we could just see another divergence appear. It could just carry on diverging to the up and continue on the upside there for now. Finally, Euro Yen. Been watching this carefully, but this has just continued the charge to the upside there. Just going and going and going, the Euro Yen. Again, as with the dollar yen, there isn't really the entries. There was one on the 4-hourly time frame there, but maybe it gets a little bit more messier. Well, again, it's the sort of timing of the entry on this 9 o'clock at night, really breaking the highs through there. Not the prettiest. We'll see what happens for this, but it is giving a bit of a retrace, and we might see something appear. But right, okay. I had a click on the Euro Aussie, but it's gone ugly. Right, let's ignore that then. Go on to usual markets and look at gold. What's gold up to? So gold really stalling, looking a bit on the softer side on the 4 hourlies, stalling on the dailies, softer side on the 4 hourlies, looking like, well, that stronger dollar. We could see a pullback a little bit more. It's looking, as I say, does look a bit on the softer side there. Oil, really yesterday just continued on that downside. I'm just not finding this particularly easy to trade at the moment. I did look at it at 11 o'clock yesterday. Look at that, it flew. I wouldn't have caught that anyway. Realistically, it was going the wrong way for me at that time. But breakdown at 11 o'clock in the morning. There's one solid sell-off that occurred there. This morning, well, just looking at what from this sell-off here, the flaggy sort of pattern, you'd be looking for more continuation, but it's just become so unreliable technically lately. Just out of that for now. I don't even know why I'm looking at it. It's getting to that point. I'll do the DAX as I'm on it now. The DAX is often my favourite. Yesterday, though, it just found support into that S2 and didn't really do too much at all. And well, yeah, I'm not really liking what I'm seeing here. It has given a little higher low here. I'm really in for the shorts on it, not for the longs. I like it when it's popped back up to have a short on it. It's not touched its daily pivot. Could come back towards that sort of level at some point this morning, but not really liking the price action there. S&Ps, the Nvidia data helped push this later on. Post market movements then 9 o'clock, but choppy old ugly day. We do have the non-farms there again, as I say. Okay, it's September's today, whether that will affect these markets, and it's quite thin at the moment. We'll see with the European markets help push through on this. It's certainly we've seen it on the Nasdaq there, and Nasdaq, the DAX, beg your pardon. And finally, the FTSE. So finding support at the moment back to its 50. If we are, I mean, it's got some support off that daily 50. Probably a bit of divergence. Should be a bit of divergence. Probably double divergence. Got the wrong chart to do that one. I'll come down and look at it on the lower time frames and pop this into a 4-hourly chart for a second. So I don't have the. There we go. So what is it doing? Well, it's got the divergence off where it is at the moment here. Could pop itself a little move bounce, but have to say, back in my mind, I'm questioning what we're seeing here. A break of these highs here would trigger that would be the green light for that divergence to play out, or attempt to play out there on that 4-hourly. So that's that high from, what time was that? Midnight. Okay, it's putting in a bit of a positive move here. We could see a follow through here. Very pinched pivots, as you can see here. We have to and ignore those to a degree, although the R2 might just sort of come into play. The outer pivots start playing a little bit of a stronger role when they're so pinched. Right, so not a great deal going on here, guys. I'm afraid it's a bit of the same old, same old. Anyway, I shall leave you there and wish you a good day's trading. To say, I think the Aussie, if it's starting to go. I highlighted it. This was already starting to go. I just watched the first 15-20 minutes, although it will potentially, looking the way things are going at the moment, they're all moving. So there you go. I'll leave you with that one. See if it gets down to that S1. Take care. Catch you tomorrow. Bye for now.